at NTV.
Welcome back to Morning at NTV, and many thanks for staying with us. We are getting information that Ugandan products are finding a hard time to thrive in the Kenyan market. We are going to be unpacking this and more with Stephen Mbide, who is hosting or talking to the Executive Director of Uganda Manufacturers Association, Mr. Daniel Birungi. A very good morning, Mbide. Take it away.
Yes, good morning to you, Romeo Busiku. Indeed, I'm here at the Serena Conference Gardens here in Kampala. But we know that for so many years, in fact, from the colonial times, Uganda has been a supermarket for many Kenyan products. And in fact, many raw materials for the Kenyan industries have been picked from Uganda, taken to Nairobi, Kenya, for manufacturing industries, and then the products are brought back here, especially the agro-processing products there. But we know that all is not well now. There is a very tough trade war between Uganda and Kenya. But what is the genesis of all this? Why can't issues, economic issues and trade affairs can't be solved by Uganda and Kenya? And with me here is none other than the Executive Director of Uganda Manufacturers Association, that is Daniel Birungi. He's here with me. He's going to let me know what's happening and what measures they are taking to ensure that all is well for the traders. Good morning to you, Birungi.
Good morning, good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's hit the point. What is happening between Uganda and Kenya? Because many manufacturers and traders, exporters here, are crying they're not able to access the Kenyan markets.
What's happening is that we're having significant challenges for many of our products to access Kenya. And this is something that has been ongoing for about the last 3 years. We've certainly tried to engage separately with the government of Uganda and other entities to find solutions to this. The challenge seems not to go away. And as you will probably have reported, we did hold an event, a press conference earlier this week, where we indicated that the challenges, that this was creating a challenge for us as manufacturers, because like you rightly said, while there's been significant improvements in our capacity as a country to produce different products, the frustration for the manufacturers is that having developed these capacities, we are now unable to access markets that should naturally be ours.
But we know so many business people here have invested huge sums of money in their businesses, in the industries here, to manufacture products and then export to the regional markets. When someone invests this sum of money and then he's frustrated at the regional level, then what's the real importance or significance of the entire East African community integration market?
You're very right, and that's one of the things we've pointed out. Uganda is a signatory to the EAC Common Market Protocol, which among others designates this as a single market, the East African region as a single market. The promise of investing in Uganda is that you have a market that spans Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda, South Sudan. Now, when you come into the country with that mindset, with the knowledge that, look, if I invest in Uganda, I'm still going to be able to get to these countries, it's extremely frustrating for an investor, having put $20 million into a factory, to then find out that, yes, I've delivered for about 3 months or so, and then I'm blocked from accessing these markets. And your question is right. What then are we talking about when you talk about East African community integration? Is it integration in name only, or does it actually trickle down to the economics of it?
Let's speak about those who are exactly feeling the pinch, those kind of manufacturers and exporters. Who are these we are talking about? I know of those who are exporting sugar and, of course, poultry products. But who are those others?
The hardest hit sectors have been the milk sector, dairy sector. We've had significant disruptions in that area. I'll let you know that based on our capacity to consume in Uganda, we cannot consume all the milk that is produced here, because our per capita consumption as a country is 62 liters per person. In Kenya, the per capita consumption is 110 liters per person, which naturally means that for an investor investing in dairy in Uganda, your target has to pivot to have Uganda, but also look at other markets. Sugar is another area where we're extremely suffering. At the moment, current estimates state that we have about 150,000 metric tons of sugar in bond that is unable to be sold because we do not have the capacity to consume it. Mark you, this is before we even talk about the fact that we have a Tiak sugar factory that has been commissioned that is going to add to this
And the
deficit.
Teso juice factory.
And all those. The other one, of course, is gas cylinders. We have a very good manufacturer of gas cylinders in Uganda who has tried to take these gas cylinders to Kenya, because naturally Kenya, being a stronger economy than Uganda, has moved quite a lot in urging its citizens to take up gas, which means there's a market for gas in Kenya, therefore a market for gas cylinders. Unfortunately, barrier after barrier is thrown in their way. And I can go on and on. You mentioned poultry is another area that there's significant challenges to enter Kenya. And remember, this comes on the backdrop of COVID-19.
Yeah.
It comes on the backdrop of the failure to enter Rwanda. So at the end of the day, what are we
Because
talking
even
about?
up today, Rwanda is still, the border is still, the people are having challenges there at the border.
Precisely, and that is our message to government, to say, you've encouraged investment. You've done a very good job of attracting investors into Uganda, very good. But if at the end of the day the investment does not yield returns, then even the jobs that have been created are going to be lost. As we speak today, about 114,000 jobs have been lost over the past 1.5 years.
114,000.
Yes, 114,000 jobs have been lost over the past 1.5 years because of absence of market for these people, because I cannot keep my staff if at the end of the day I'm not able to sell the items I'm producing. Now, when you go beyond that, the other key issue here is that the farmer is then suffering. Go to Western Uganda. A while back, the price of milk, farm gate price of milk had risen to 1,000 shillings per litre.
Sure.
As we speak now, in some areas, it's massive for someone to offer you 200
But
shillings
with
per
all
litre.
this, I see so many Kenyan companies here, even in banking. You see so many I think like 3 banks from Kenya, and others they are flooding the supermarkets, other products. But we operate an open door for Kenyan products here. But if they are resisting our products, why can't you and all stakeholders try to make sure that also maybe we also do the same? If they block, we also block their, even if it means calling for protest against their products. Why can't we do that?
We've started this from the diplomatic angle to say, can we have conversations around resolving this? But naturally, I think the challenge here is we are the most committed partner state as far as integration is concerned. We will open our doors to your citizens, we will open our doors to your country, we will open our doors to everything that comes from your countries as Uganda. But our neighbors are not reciprocating. And you're right. Perhaps the way forward then to show that, look, our commitment to integration is strong, but we are also willing to tighten the nut when you push us against the wall. And I believe that at the moment we are against the wall. And perhaps it's time to put in place mitigation measures such as restrictions on importation of Kenyan products as well. Because maybe that will be what will bring out the fact that Uganda is not happy with the treatment it's receiving.
Okay, and then talking about the interventions and conversations you're having, have you tried to either petition Ugandan Parliament here or the EALA, East Africa Legislative Assembly, as well as the Business Summit? Because I know there is that summit that brings about all business operators in the region. I try at least to give a push or even take it to the ministerial or presidential level that, look, there is a problem here that needs to be sorted, not only today, but also for the future.
Yes, we have petitioned our parliament in Uganda. We have spoken to our ministries at length over the past 2 years. Just in January this year, the Minister of Trade issued a protest note to Kenya indicating that this was a key challenge that needs to be resolved. No response has been received to that. We are definitely working with our partners across the region. Just this week, we are meeting with the Kenya Association of Manufacturers to try and see whether at our level there are some initiatives that can be put in place to resolve this impasse. Yes, the East African Business Council is also a potential area for us to go to. But at the end of the day, I think we are beginning to see that it's important to empower the EAC Secretariat to be able to resolve some of these issues. If we are always going to wait for the presidents to resolve issues, we are never going to move, because as you can see with the case with the European Union, the Secretariat is permitted to resolve some of these issues, and that then means that issues are resolved immediately they crop up. Right now we're entering year 3 of the same issue.
Okay, as we try to wind up this conversation, finally, what would you tell the trader, the exporter right now, who is already suffering the effects of COVID-19, but now is also having the punch of not being able to sell in Kenya? Amidst all this, what should that person be doing, or where he or she should be running to?
The persons who are affected, our appeal to them as the Manufacturer Association is get us the statistics. Give us the information on how you have been affected. Because in the meetings we are going into, part of what is going to make the difference is the ability to show clear examples of how this has impacted our economy, how this has impacted you at individual level. Beyond that, we're also urging our members to continue being resilient, to continue fighting and to continue working with us. We have hope that we can find a resolution to this issue.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Daniel Birungi, the Executive Director of Uganda Manufacturers Association. Of course, the problem is still big, it's still big enough here in Uganda, but also in the region. And also we know that at least this has to be, they are trying to make some intervention and make some efforts to make sure that this trade war between Uganda and Kenya is resolved, because it's at all levels, the Ugandan exporter is the one who is suffering now.